starting the recording. Hey everyone, this is episode 499 of the OotiniCast. Episode 499 of the... And it is October 23rd of 2024. And let me put this where it needs to be. We will also let folks know that we are live. So yeah, one more episode to the big 500. We're working on some plans for that episode. But yeah, like last episode, we're going to be giving out some codes today. How I figure we'll do it, I liked how I did it last time. So what I just did is, instead of trying to interrupt the show during the show, instead right after we sign out and right before we're going to raid another Twitch channel, we'll just give out the codes right then. And we'll try to give a code to everyone who wants one in the chat. So if you'll be in the chat, then just let us know that you want a code and what kind you want, and we'll talk about that later, like what ones we have and stuff, which we have a bunch of good ones. You know, we have the jetpack, we have some Voltilla codes, all that good stuff. Let me get this tweet sent out. $4.99. So yeah, and even if you have all the codes, we can always give you some cartel coins. Those are always useful.
Cartel coins are always good.
Well, let's send it out. It was sent out, so I managed to get it sent out the other week, and it's still working. So for a long time, I just could not make that work. It just wasn't working, but now it seems to be okay. I'm not sure what the dealio is, but hey, it's all good. And
yeah,
since it's working, I'm going to go ahead and repost as well.
I tried to repost.
Yeah. Hey, Zackies, how you doing?
And it said, Twitter said, you have reposted your limit. I'm like, what?
What?
I just woke up. Am I reposting in my sleep? No.
When you're posting in your sleep, doo-doo, doo-doo.
That's funny.
Yeah, either that or you're being hacked, quietly hacked. Did you look back at your history?
Yeah, it's
oh my god, I'm giving away so much money.
Yeah. Oh no.
AJD. Yeah, $4.99. So 500's next time. Like I say, we have to sort of finalize some things, but we're hoping to get some good stuff going for the next show. And we'll figure out something regardless. But anyway, yeah, we haven't quite finalized it. I was hoping we would sort of have it announceable, but it's not quite to that point yet. So we will announce it when we can announce it. It's all good though.
Announceable.
We will announce it when we can. It's the unannounceable. Unannounceable. I do not think it means what you think it means. All right, Kitty, I'm ready. Let me have a little water if you're good.
Good.
Okay, then going in 5. I still think about that time I choked, and that was 20 episodes ago. It was a year ago almost now.
I purposely don't say anything.
But you always think about it?
Yeah, I just go, shut up, don't say anything.
Don't freak him out. All right, going in 5. Let me get in position here. Going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that would never do anything without the approval of the Senate. This is episode 499, being recorded on Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, KittyKissz. Hey, Kitty.
Hello, Chill.
All right, and what you been up to since the last show, or at least the last time you were on?
Yeah, it's there's been so much going on in real life, but that's all boring. There is something, but I can't talk about it. I know this is a big tease.
Same here.
I'll be able to tell you.
Right, off stream. Yeah, exactly. I have some stuff that's going on in my personal life too, but it's not really show appropriate or worthy.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been just doing some stuff around the house, trying to make things nicer and stuff like that. But in the world of gaming, I have been playing my Qui-Gon Wild character, who started off.
He goes bare-chested every chance he gets.
He started off. Yeah, he's got a medallion. He started off as Qui-Gon Jinn, and as the story progresses and through Kotfi and Kotet, he started to make his fall into the dark side, and now we're done with Kotfi and Kotet, and he's making some pretty cruel decisions, and he decided to be a dictator instead of just a ruler.
Wow.
And
are you taking him all the way through the story? All the way
through the story.
Wow. It takes so long nowadays.
What did I skip? I skipped Oricon.
Yeah, but that's really a side thing.
Yeah. Plus, I don't want to have that operation in my chat or in my my log. You know how after you finish that,
it just kind of hangs around.
It just sits there. You can't get rid of it. And but what was I saying? So I skipped Oricon and I skipped Ilum.
Okay.
So, but everything else I've been playing.
Right.
And I also didn't use any XP boosts.
Oh.
So I didn't burn any XP boosts, the consumable.
Right.
And I didn't upgrade any of the XP stuff except for exploration.
Interesting.
So he didn't ting 80 until Kotet, which was really interesting because, I tend to run a bunch of the side quests because
Did you on him? Yeah. Did you on him?
No, I kind of kept. I just kind of kept
mostly
straight along and
tried
to see how far I could get without him being level 80, and got really far. It made it a little bit more, difficult.
Sure.
Not much, but it was, it was a little
certain times, yeah.
And I also used characters that were lower level or companions that were lower level. So, they didn't heal quite as good. Basically to try and force myself to use cooldowns. Okay. To kind of get used to those in the rotations and stuff like that. He's a sentinel.
Oh, he's a sentinel. Okay.
Yeah.
So dual wield. Did he start as a guardian and then go dual wield as he got darker, or?
No, Qui-Gon Wild, man.
Okay.
One wasn't enough. Gotta have two. Two's better. But it's been really, really fun. I'm having a lot of fun with the character. He did romance Kira and has stayed true to Kira. So when she comes back, we'll hook back up with Kira and kind of have the thing that, he would do anything to protect her. He'd do anything to do whatever it takes. Thus,
sort of the
horrible things.
She's
in the name
his
of what he
Amidala.
believes is good, right?
Right.
Yeah, right. So that's been really fun. And then just lately, ever since the PTS, the public test server dropped, I've been doing quite a bit of that. A couple hours every day.
Wow.
To just go on and play through the dynamic. What are they called again? I can never remember.
The dynamic events, or I think
dynamic events.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I think
whatever they're called, I've been doing lots of them.
Okay.
I've gotten all the way through
dynamic encounters, apparently.
Dynamic encounters. Thank you.
There we go. I had to look it up.
I got all the way through 25 on the Republic side, 25 of them on Tatooine and 25 on Hoth. I just finished 25 on Imperial side, and now I'm headed to Hoth to finish out the 25 over there.
Nice.
And sending, being like, hey, BioWare, my VODs at this time are of Test Center.
Nice. And so they can actually watch you.
So they can go check it out and, kind of making comments, and then, chats talking about stuff about, things that happened to them, and just trying to, help out as much as I can. I don't know.
That's awesome.
I also tell them, I'm like, hey, if there's a different way you want me to do this, go ahead and shoot me a PM. I'd be more than happy to help out. And but it's been fun. We did on I think it was Saturday and Sunday. We got a bunch of people that was in chat together, and we all did it as a group, and it was a blast. It's really fun. I really, really enjoy the dynamic encounters. I think that it's going to make the worlds feel a lot busier and a lot more, dynamic. But that's about it on my end, Chill.
All right.
I pass the baton on to thee.
Okay. All right, let's see who's in chat here. So Altul, Darth Dirty Socks is here, JD's here, Master Lil is here, Professor Darth Yoda, Quirkus, Skylar Zamna, Squishy Twitchy, Starry Saber, Zakis, and Zen are all here. Hey, everyone. And looks like people are still joining, so that's awesome. So I kind of finished up on Tank Girl. I actually didn't put this in the show notes. So I got her to level 80 around the time of the last show, and I still am planning. Like I geared her up, but I haven't gone back and actually done PvP on that spec yet, which I'm curious to try because it's sort of like it feels very different from the other commando damage spec, which is like the direct damage. So she's on like the sort of the dot spec, and it's sort of bursty, and it felt really interesting when I was leveling, and I do want to try it out on PvP, but I just haven't done that yet because I decided, because we're getting close to Halloween, I decided to make a Frankenstein monster for Halloween.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, and so Juggernaut, make him a damage dealer, just direct damage because the jumps are kind of fun, But Inquisitor storyline, because of all the like body swapping, body horror, possession, all that sort of stuff, all those horror themes that are in it. So that was really fun. And I started dark and actually moved light. So the idea was like in the movies, he's just sort of in that sort of dark phase all the time. In the book, he's like, when he's born, he tries to be light. Like he tries to be to to be sociable and to like meet friends or whatever, all that sort of thing. And just everyone like is freaked out by him, and no one will like even communicate with him, and that's sort of what turns him dark. It's like not like he was there. It's not like he was necessarily fated to all along because of something wrong about his heart. It was more about the fact that just no one would like actually like communicate with him.
And this is the Mary Shelley novel?
In the original novel, yeah. And so at the end of that novel, he is very dark. Like he's, he goes after his creator. He kidnaps his creator, forces him to make a spouse for him, which is also where the movie Bride of Frankenstein sort of comes from. But the doctor kills the bride instead of actually bringing her to life because he freaks out about it. And then after that, the monster is just like ruining his life. Like he just stalks him, like kills his loved ones and friends, and forces him to go off into the wilderness and chases him to the ends of the earth. Like, so he gets really dark. But I never
read that.
Yeah, it's an excellent novel. It's it's kind of the first science fiction novel. Before there was even science fiction, there was Frankenstein. That was the first one, because the idea being that electricity was sort of like the new thing back then, and like what happens if this technology allows this to happen, and that's that sort of what if due to technology. That is sci-fi, and she was the first, and it was like,
didn't she do it on a bet too? She's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write a novel because her boyfriend at the time was a novelist.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. There's a whole like bunch of weird stuff about her life. You should look it up sometime. Like her life is just as weird as Frankenstein in a lot of ways. Yeah, interesting stuff. But anyway, but I always thought it was interesting, like the idea, like like what if someone had like actually reached out to him and like shown him some compassion. And so the idea is like Ashara sort of becomes that person who befriends him and then sort of eventually turns him to the light. So we started really dark and then slowly moved to the light as Ashara came on the scene. And it's been kind of fun, actually. So
yeah, that's cool because she comes in late.
She does.
So it gives you time to kind of set that character, you know,
as a dark character. Yeah, exactly. Character, right? And not only does she start late, but the romance arc starts late even once she's there. Like, you can't really flirt with her for like the first few conversations at all. And then even then it's kind of a slow burn. So
Thank you for trusting me.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. I'm pretty happy with his look. I put a picture in the show notes. Yeah. This is when he was about Dark 2, I believe. He got all the way up to Dark 3 before Ashara came on the scene. I was using...
Holy crap!
Yeah, well, a lot of dark choices, of course, but I was using diplomacy to sort of like force the issue.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, what I did is after about like level 10, I realized, oh yeah, if we're going to do the dark and then light, we should try to get as dark as possible and then turn it around. So I started doing only dark diplomacy missions and skipping all the light ones.
You can really cruise along using diplomacy. It's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
Thanks,
now with the dark versus light.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to get there. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Zacchaeus points out that Frankenstein is free on Kindle, so you can get that pretty readily nowadays because it's so old that there's no copyright issues anymore.
Public domain.
Yeah. Baby. So anyway, I'm really enjoying him. Let's see, where are we now? We are Prelude to Shadow of Revan is what we just finished up. And he's like level 60 something, low 60s somewhere. He was kind of like actually behind in levels, and then but we're starting to catch up. And I actually threw the XP gear on him because I want to kind of get this done before Halloween. So, I want him to be 80 by Halloween. I didn't want to like necessarily be like doing this like well past Halloween. So,
holy crap, that's coming up quick too.
Yeah. One thing that was kind of cool is that he's on the rage spec, the direct damage spec, and I made one choice that I never made before just because I thought it'd be interesting. And it turns out it completely changes how the spec feels, and it's really kind of cool. And it's probably better more for solo stuff like I'm doing than like if I was taking him into PvP. But it feels really cool. And it's the one choice where it's like level 43, I want to say, or it's right around there. And it has some weird name, something meditations, like burning meditations or something like that. It's not quite the right idea, but what it does is it makes your force cost abilities, at least the ones that are force abilities, not like melee attacks. They're like one cheaper essentially. They get refunded by one. But also after you use Enrage, you have during that time when it's active, which it gives you 6 rage, and then it also speeds you up by 50% for 6 seconds. So during that 6 seconds, it also makes it so that force spending force abilities don't go on cooldown, so you can spam abilities. And so, really? And so at least in solo, it feels really cool because you're getting these resets on your Enrage all the time because every time you go out of combat, the Enrage comes back. So that's not an issue.
Yeah. I love that ability.
Yeah, and then so and then I also have the one where Obliterate, the short jump, makes a shield, gives you a little 9% of your health shield. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm doing is I'm jumping in, popping in rage immediately, and then assuming it's single target, I just do Obliterate and then my hardest hitting single ability, and it's something I can't remember what it's called. Enraged something, I believe, but anyway, so it auto crits because Obliterate makes it auto crit. Then you do Obliterate again, get a shield again, then you do the hard-hitting ability that auto-crits again, and you do that twice during Enrage, and they're still off of cooldown because they haven't gone on cooldown because you were during Enrage. So you get to do it a third time. So you end up getting like 9% shields, like just being refreshed every 3 seconds, and you're getting these auto-crits on basically your hardest-hitting ability, and it just feels really fun.
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying it. I don't know how well it would work in PvP, though, because you're giving up something that's kind of useful in PvP, which is your enrage breaks roots and slows, which is kind of nice to have in PvP, and it would be hard to give that up. I would say it could be potentially done maybe at higher levels, because you can also choose Mad Dash, which also breaks roots and stuns, or not stuns, roots and slows. But so that you would at least have one way to break roots and slows, even if Enrage didn't do it. And of course, if you just pop your Enrage and you start this combo thing and then they stun you, well, that's it's only a 6-second thing, so it goes away pretty fast. So any stun that's longer than a couple seconds is going to waste most of it. So unless you have your CC break, it kind of wastes it. But anyway, but it's a lot of fun. I might want to try it at end game in PvP, but I'm not right now. I'm just doing solo stuff for fun.
Do it at end game or try it right now. Because I do have
people with that spec, of course,
some of those abilities that you're talking about, and running dailies on that, you just fly through them.
I'll bet. Yeah.
You just because every time you end combat, it's just reset, and you just boing, off to the next thing. Especially if you have Smash, the Smash Tactical, it's crazy.
Right. Is that the one? Yeah.
Which you can do.
Which Smash Tactical? Because the only one I know is for the bleed. For the bleed spec, the bleed makes Smash come back, but this is the direct damage one, so it doesn't have that.
Maybe I'm thinking of the implant. There's one of them that makes your Smash tick really quick.
Okay.
And when you're using that,
I think that's on the bleed spec, but I'll have to see if there's something cool on the for the rage spec. Yeah.
But oof, man, you fly through dailies. You're just boom, bah, bah,
I do like that spec, and I've used that one too. Yeah, I love that. I think it is a tactical, I want to say, but anyway, whatever it is, it really it brings back. You can just almost if you have a group and they're all bleeding, you can just smash because it's actually up every global. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. But this is different because you obliterate. And then you get the auto crit on your biggest hard hitting ability, or you can get an auto crit smash, which is nice too. And you just obliterate, smash, obliterate, crit smash, obliterate, crit smash, or like I say, single target. It feels really good. It's really kind of fun.
Such a fun class.
Don't know how well it would work in PvP because I think people are gonna CC you and stuff like that and screw up your your enrage timer. But
if you only had loadouts where you could change it whenever you wanted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you do have the thing where. Later on, where when you jump, you're immune to most CC for 4 seconds, and so if you're immediately enraging, which I already am, and I probably would in PvP as well, there's at least a little window where you can at least get a few of them off before they would be able to do much about it. But anyway, So anyway, really enjoying it. Still a long ways to go on him. Hopefully done in a week when Halloween comes around. But it's been a lot of fun. And that'll bring us to the tip of the week because I did load the public test server. I haven't actually really gone into it though, and partly that was because of the crazy amount of work I put into just getting the darn thing in there. So my problem was I have a computer that was fine at its time, but it's a little older now, and the solid state drive, the SSD, is on the smaller side. So I only have about one SWTOR's worth of free room on there. So I loaded it and I removed everything I could, like temporary internet files, downloads, old programs, pictures. I moved to the old hard drive. It took me everything, and then I finally got the test drive on, but there was so little memory left over that I couldn't really run it right because I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't even pull up and watch a YouTube video. It was really crazy. So what I did is I then removed the test server stuff. And then I put SWTOR on the old hard drive. And I didn't download it. I just took my C drive one and I copied it over. So what you do is you just go to that folder. It's like program files x86, and then it's EA, and then it's and then it's SWTOR, and then it's everything in SWTOR. So I just took the EA drive and just copied it over, And I kept the original one on. This was not a move. It was a copy. So it took a little longer because of that. But anyway, I just copied it over. And what that does is it also moves over all of your choices files that are on your hard drive. So if I downloaded it like from swotor.com again and just reloaded it onto the D drive, onto the old style hard drive, then it wouldn't have all of my UIs. It wouldn't have all those other sort of choices, for like what my video choices are and stuff like that, video settings and all that jazz. So just by moving it over that way, you can actually have a version of it that is different from your regular one, and yet it has all of your UI and all those other good things that makes, keeps it from being, onerous. Because one thing I don't usually like about the test drive is like so many things are different that I'm used to, and it's like, But if you have your UI and stuff like that, it's a lot better. So I have that. I moved it over, but because of that, this was like really late at night, and I had gone through all this craziness before I had figured out how to do this, and I was a little worried because back in the day, like when SWTOR first launched, I had an older type computer that had only a hard drive, didn't have an SSD at the time. They were becoming common at the time, but I just didn't happen to have a computer that had one. And like if you like loading into like a bigger area like Nar Shaddaa or Hoth would take, like the better part of a minute. It'd be like 50 seconds, 55 seconds sometimes to do some of these bigger planets and stuff like that. And it would always work, but it just took a long time. As soon as I got my newer computer and it was on the SSD, it dropped by like 3/4, something like that. It takes like 10 seconds.
Quick. It's so much nicer.
Yeah, to load into like Nar Shaddaa. And I was worried that by, running the public test server on a hard drive, it would be like that again. But when I tested it, it wasn't that bad. It was significantly slower than my SSD, but it wasn't like 50 seconds. It was more like, yeah, it was more like, it was like instead of like 15 seconds, it'd be like 22 seconds, or, instead of 10 seconds, it was like 15 or 17 seconds. It's like, 30, 40, 50, 60% slower, depending on what area we're talking about and stuff like that. And so that was interesting. And I think part of it is probably that, hard drives are a little bit better than they were with my older computer.
Yeah.
Probably, behind the scenes, like things are being like optimized in the game, over time, they're always figuring out ways to optimize things and bring them up to, newer standards and stuff like that. So probably little bits and pieces of both of those sorts of things. But in any case, I haven't really tested it, but I did run a character around on it and make sure it seemed to be working. She has the UI up, first time I went in, the UI was there. I just, boom. I'm really excited. I have to do another one because I realized the character I moved over had like no credits on her. So I have to move over someone with some credits so I can give her some credits, because it's like, yeah.
Did you start Audacity?
Yes. Have you?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, good.
We usually go, hey, all right.
We usually do say that, yeah.
Okay.
But yes, fortunately we both did it. Yeah. So and the reason I went through all this craziness is because I knew my SSD was really full, and I hadn't really thought through the hard drive version thing before. I really wasn't 100% on actually doing the test server this time. But then it turns out that the guild is going to try the lair boss. And so they wanted everyone to have the test server by Friday. So that's why I did it. And so I haven't done too much of I haven't done any of the the new area stuff yet. I do want to do some of that too, but I haven't done it yet. And but yeah, we'll plan on doing the lair boss, and she definitely will need some credits for that, because otherwise I'm just gonna not be able to repair.
Right.
So anyway, so that's sort of my tip of the week. If you for some reason want to have a different version of SWTOR where you're running the test server, or maybe you want to try out the French client or the German client, and your hard drive is available, you can just move it over. And because SWTOR doesn't have any of, like it used to be, like all games and programs would love to put little wiggly things like inside the Windows system itself, and if you just try to move over the files, like the whole program would crash. It would never work. But SWTOR is not like that. Everything that SWTOR needs to run is in the SWTOR file area, and you just move it over, copy that sucker over, and you're good to go. You don't have to download anything. You don't have to worry about anything else. It's really nice. And so I'm really looking forward to trying it some more.
Cool.
And so anyway, that's my tip of the week. And it's kind of making me want to maybe try the French client again, because I'm still in the background. I'm like still banging my head against learning French. I wish I was better at it. And I did like doing that. And then at one point, like the hard drive got full and I just wasn't able to do it. Or by which I mean my SSD. But now that I know that I can do it on the old hard drive, which is much, much bigger and has plenty of room in it, I'm good to go. So anyway.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you have a tip of the week, send it to OotiniCast.
I have two.
Oh, sorry. One. Go ahead.
I have a couple. Okay. So these are kind of just basics, and they're both BTS tips. Okay. This one, I think that would have behooved both you and me, Chill.
Okay.
Make sure the tune that you're sending over to PTS before you do it has all of their gear on before you send them over, i.e. your armor, your tacticals, all that stuff. Make sure that that's on the character before you go over to SWTOR.com and move them over. And of course, send some money too, because you're gonna need that.
I found that one out.
I got over there. I'm like, why is my character so squishy? And I realized, half of my gear's missing.
Right. And I would say one other thing is that you will have fewer inventory slots in the new server, in the test server. So try to clear out your inventory and make sure that you don't really have anything that you don't really want to have. Keep your stims and your med packs and things you're actually going to use. But otherwise, maybe just temporarily put them in, your bank or whatever, or do whatever you need to just sort of clear it out. Because you're only going to have like 40 slots, I think, instead of like the 100 or whatever it is.
One of them I have like 20
or 80. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
Crap. Okay, and the next one I have is, this is something that I didn't notice throughout any of the Feast of Prosperity seasons up until probably, I want to say, last week. When you're doing the droid mission for Feast of Prosperity, where you're taking the entrees out to the different tables.
I remember that one.
In the back, in the kitchen, they have a counter back there that tells you how many you have to do and how many you have left.
Oh, I didn't realize that was there. Wow.
I didn't either.
I just kind of went until it told me I was done.
Yeah, me too. And so, that kind of, it's a lot nicer knowing how many you have to do.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh man, how much longer is this going to last? Not to mention, when you only need one more, you just grab one instead of waiting for all of them to post and then, going out. But yeah, It's right in the kitchen. So just use your droids, look back there, and it tells you how many more you have and how many you've done. And it even has another one that says how many you've messed up, but we don't mess up.
That's good to know.
And, that's it.
All right. If you have a tip of the week, send it to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show, and you can win a Tonfon MA83R droid pet code or an M2B9 droid code, and plus a 450cc code, all courtesy of Broadsword. And so thank you for that. And we're also for both this episode and also for the Big 500 episode, we're just giving out a lot of codes to everyone who's in the chat, like at the end of the episode. So if you're here at the end of this show, we're just gonna try to, and everyone who wants something, we're gonna try to get everyone a code. So that is also a thing, especially for the next 2 episodes. And we'll try to give out more codes than we have been recently. Like we've been very I guess lazy about it is the word. I don't know, but whatever. But yeah, for definitely this episode and the next episode, if you're here for the live show, we're giving away a lot of codes. So. That'll bring us to the Mind Trap, and there are a couple of tests for SWTOR going on, and the PTS, which we've talked about. There's also the Mac client test, and so we were asking people if they're going to join in. Yes for the PTS, yes for the Mac client, yes for both, or just not at all. And originally I actually typed no because I thought my SSD drive was going to be too full. I wasn't really planning on it because of that. I hadn't really thought of ever really trying it on the D drive, on the regular old style hard drive, and I hadn't played with the guild yet, so I didn't know that they were planning on doing the test server, and that I therefore was going to be definitely wanting to get the test server. So I actually said no, but as it turns out, I am actually doing it. So
nice.
So it turned out I'm technically a yes PTS, but I don't have a Mac, but I actually voted no. How about you, Kitty?
I wrote yes.
Okay, great. Well,
now this is also because they said that they were giving out the Kaizyken log mounts, and I wanted them so bad. There wasn't. I was not going to miss it.
Nice.
For nothing.
Nice. So no took the vote with 53.1% of the vote. This one didn't get a ton of votes. I guess it wasn't that sexy of a question, but no got 53% of the votes. But yes, the PTS did take a pretty reasonably close second place at 39.1%, almost 40% of the vote. Yes, Mac client is 3% of the vote, and yes, both the BTS and the Mac client, 4.7% of the vote. So actually more both than just the Mac, which is interesting. I suppose makes some sense because, like, if you have a Mac only, you might not already be playing SWTOR. Maybe it takes some time to even realize there is a client, for it that's going to be tested for it. So it'll be interesting to see, how folks take to the Mac client version.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to have to get the word out about it anyway, especially to folks who only have a Mac, only use a Mac, all that sort of thing. So, yeah.
Also, I'd like to add also that if you're doing anything on the public test server, whether it be Mac or the regular one, and you have a VOD of it, share that if you can with the devs, because that will help them out immensely. So I'm sure you could reach out to Jackie in some way or another, and she'd be more than happy to get that information on how the devs can get a hold of that.
Yeah, I should probably do something like that too. And also maybe I should do like that tomorrow for my stream instead of keep working on, Frankenstein, get some time on the test server, since we'll also be doing, on Friday, be doing the guild run. Well, maybe I could do it on Friday as well, because the guild run's after when I usually stream. Yeah. But I won't be able to VOD the at least not my usual way, because we're not supposed to record Jar Jar Joyrides just by common assent, essentially, because that way anyone who that way we're not turning away people who might not want to be on camera or on mic. But
it makes sense. It's cool.
It's all good.
Something completely random right now. For some reason, I don't know what it was. I was on the internet, and Michael Dukakis in the tank, a picture of it popped up, and I just started cracking up.
Because I just finished my
Michael
Dukakis one.
Have a tank?
Yes, he rides around in a little tank. In fact, it's hilarious because he does kind of stick out of the tank like he does in the famous picture.
I was laughing my ass off.
And the weird thing is, if you look at this tank when your character is in it, and if you move your camera above it, it turns out they're actually standing up in the tank.
Oh, that's funny.
Like your character's just standing up in this giant tank. And it also the tank, it has the goofiest flare ever. Like every other tank in the game that I've seen that has a flare, some of them don't have flares, but they shoot the gun. This one doesn't shoot the gun. This one has the little engines on the back end, and they have the engines are on little sticks, and then if you hit the flare, the engines go from being engines up in the air vertical to, and then they become horizontal, and then you hit it again.
I know what you're talking about.
And they go back up again. It's the lamest tank flare ever, and I love it. I freaking love it. It's perfect. It was perfect for the Dukakis cosplay. So thank you for whatever dev decided they're going to have a tank, and it's going to have a flare, and it's going to be just a goofy engine change. is absolutely gooferino. I love it.
Whenever there's one of those flares, I always call it, this means business flare. You know, like, oh, we're not messing around anymore. We're going to down to the side.
Yeah, and some folks responding to Mind Trap did say, like, hey, I wish that the test servers would be up for preferred players. Because there are a lot of players who've been playing the game a long time, but are not necessarily subscribed 100% of the time or whatever, at this moment, maybe just are preferred or whatever. I don't know why, they made the choice they do, but they did. I guess it makes sense to keep it on to subscribers in some ways. But I don't know all their logic behind it. Interesting thought either way.
Very interesting.
All right. And so let's see. Let's get to the Holo feed. And let's see. So we always mention this, like the Galactic Season objectives have been, released for October 15th through November 11th. We never go through these anymore because it's just too much detail that's not, that's not all that relevant, or easy to talk about in a verbal sort of setting. It is on SWTOR.com, and a copy of them are in our show notes. So if you want to know what they're going to be upcoming for the next few weeks and maybe plan around it, that's how you do that. Game 7.6 content is rolling to the public test server starting today. This was on the 18th, so not quite a week ago. And yeah, so dynamic encounters are coming to SWTOR in 7.6. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention it earlier, but there is a Volk actually put out a pretty good little 3-minute, very short YouTube video where he just kind of talks about dynamic encounters and sort of his first impressions. To sort of like TLDR it a little bit. He basically feels like they're pretty good. They don't. They're definitely going to make those worlds feel more, more alive and more vibrant. He does say that like they don't like hide them, like they're very visible. So he's not sure how they're going to make it. Like if the idea was to make the worlds make it feel like a surprise, it's not really doing that. Like that's not really the dynamic part of it. Like it's not meant, like, because apparently he does some other MMOs where they do like this sort of thing, and more the idea is like you kind of stumble upon it, or it's like a surprise, or it's like okay, it's like kind of like in the that sort of thing. And this doesn't feel like that. Like this does feel dynamic, but it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like it's something you just sort of stumble into. It's like, but it is. But so anyway, it was, and he talks about it a little differently than that. I don't know if I did a particularly good job of actually doing that, of actually say highlighting it. But anyway, he had a good little video that sort of lets you know roughly what they're like and some of his first impressions. So good job, Volk. All right. So dynamic encounters are coming to SWTOR in 7.6 as players explore Hoth and Tatooine. Presumably more planets in the future. We don't know, but Volk kind of mentioned that it felt like it was designed so that other planets could be joining in later. But in any case, 7.6 would be Hoth and Tatooine. They'll notice a new type of mission popping up on the map. Dynamic encounters offer a variety of new adventures for players to experience, from rounding up escaped bantha calves at the spaceport to defeating dangerous bosses, or even helping a down-on-its-luck Cantina band get back on the road. There are tons of dynamic encounters, and which missions are available will cycle throughout the day, giving these iconic planets brand new life. In addition to these planetary dynamic encounters, players can participate in hidden chain invasion encounters. Hedicul's forces are growing bold, staging assaults across several planets to secure resources for the hidden chain. These special dynamic encounters will only be available for a limited time as the hidden chain threatens the galaxy, so players will want to jump in and call upon their allies to help thwart their plans. Dynamic encounters can be played solo or in group, and completing them will net players unique rewards and achievements, giving everyone a great reason to discover the planets all over again. And it's on the PTS starting when the PTS started.
Yeah, they just did an update too. I noticed that when I went to log on today, there was a pretty good size update. So I think they're patching stuff. Okay. Which is really good.
Yeah, and then the Propagator Core XR-53 is a lair boss. So there was a little sneak peek that they did about this lair boss and its level design. And it'll be on Ilum, as it was once part of the Emperor's Fortress that crashed during the Battle of Ilum. This feature will debut in story mode next week, with Veteran to follow at a later time. And they have now let us know that starting tomorrow, so we're recording this on Wednesday the 23rd, starting tomorrow, Thursday the 24th, it will be on the pet test server as well. So good news for us, for our guild, because we usually do our runs on Friday, and it will be available. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. As mentioned in the 7.6 PTS video, we're bringing back previously released PTS incentives and a few new ones. Here is the breakdown of what players need to do in order to obtain past and new incentives. Dynamic encounter incentives. To earn the Cutting Edge title and Kaizyken's MK85 log mount, players must complete 25 dynamic encounters with a Republic character on Tatooine, complete 25 dynamic encounters with a Republic character on Hoth. Therefore, that's why you did those, Kitty, earlier. Mm-hmm. To earn the Strike Team Hero title and Kaizyken's MK90 Holo Log mount, players must complete 25 dynamic encounters with an Imperial character on Tatooine and 25 dynamic encounters with an Imperial character on Hoth. So, a total of 100. It sounds like it would take quite a while. Do you know roughly how long it took you, Kitty?
I was running in a group and on Saturday and Sunday, and it went pretty quick. Okay. Although, because you're having more people, it takes a little bit longer for everyone to get to where they need to be. And then doing solo today, I kind of think that it goes pretty quick. You can do maybe 25 of them in maybe 2 to 3 hours. Okay. Depending on how hard you hit it. Maybe an hour and a half to 3 hours. For
all of them, all 100?
No, for 25.
Oh, for 25. Okay, so we're talking like 12 hours-ish.
It's going to... Now, I don't bust ass everywhere.
Okay.
So, I'm old. I'm going to take my time.
Okay.
But I think you could... If you were in a group of like maybe 2 to 3 people, you guys were on comms, you could probably get it done pretty quick.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Because some of them are really far away, so there's no quick travel points to them. And because you're on test server, you can't summons anybody. You can't summon the group.
So right, because you don't have a guild. Makes sense.
Yeah. Especially the Tatooine and Hoth are both large planets. So some of them you're going way off the map, and it takes a while to get there.
Okay.
And then, of course, you're in a group. People are going to have to go bio and take phone calls and all that stuff. So it takes a while.
Okay.
Get them there.
Sounds good.
I would recommend when you're doing test center, make sure to get a character that does good AoE DPS, because a lot of it is dealing with mobs.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Bring that smash spec.
Sounds good. In addition to those titles and the 2 different type of log mount, one is an actual mount, sort of, and one's like a rest item. But in addition, if you complete all of those, the 25, 25, 25, 25, Republic, Empire, Tatooine, Hoth, so you get all 100 done, you'll also get the B1 SAL mini pet droid, which is an Andor-inspired pet, sort of like a floaty box type with a little droid cute eye and all that. You'll also, and in addition to that pet as well, you'll also get the following titles: First Line Defense, Strike Team Specialist, Strike Team Commander, and Led the Charge. In addition, there are incentives for the Lair Boss. To earn the first of many title, players must defeat the Propagator Corps XR53 on Story Mode. To earn the first among veterans, players must defeat the Propagator Corps XR53 on Veteran Mode, which isn't available yet, but will be as the test server goes on. Players will be able to keep track of their progress as they unlock PTS achievements. However, note that these incentives will be granted at 7.6 launch. So that's when they'll actually, release the pet and so on.
Yeah, we had some people in chat asking when they were going to get the rewards, and I kind of took a guess, and it looks like I was right.
You were right. Yep. And the PTS is now open. Musco announced in the PTS server they'll be hosting a live stream going over all the features coming in 7.6 in November. So that's coming up pretty soon. With a little luck, we might even see it before the next show. But if not, I'm sure it'll be probably most likely the one after then. I mean, I guess it could be late November, but then you run into Thanksgiving and stuff like that. That feels a little less likely. Yeah. But who knows? We'll see. They just say November, so anything beyond that is speculation. It'll be at this time that more content will be released on the PTS for players to check out. In other words, when they do the live stream, there's going to be yet more stuff to check out. In short, players will have more than a month to experience the new content and obtain the PTS incentives. And there you go. And there's there's a thread to get started on the PTS, and then also a Steam user version where you can to download it via the Steam. So it's kind of different. All right, so pretty cool. I definitely want to do more of the test server now that I know all the titles and stuff like that. And I like pets. Pets are fun.
You gotta get that mount.
Yeah, that sweet mount. It actually is really funny too. All right, the Best View in SWTOR contest did close just a few days ago before the show on the 20th. So we'll let you know when they give results. Looking forward to seeing that.
Everybody.
Yeah, those are always fun. They always get some really unusually interesting shots. People are really clever when they come up with where they're actually going to take their shot and and the one that they actually turn in, stuff like that. Good stuff.
It was funny when they first did this. I was like, man, I'd be able to crush this. I could take a screenshot, and then I saw the screenshots, and I was like, damn, I'm not as good as I thought I was.
Yeah, these people are clever.
They're really good, really creative.
Yep. Let's see. But after the last show, but about 10 days ago, there were a few latency issues on Satil Shan. This happens occasionally on this server or that server or whatever. It's one of those times when they had to bring the server down briefly for a fix. Apparently, it went pretty well. I want to say that it might have slightly affected me. I was on a character and it was sort of doing something, but then I ended up not playing for a while, then coming back and it had all been fixed. So it's I think I accidentally sort of was in, caught in that, but then it got fixed before I kind of realized what was going on. All right. And the testing for the Mac launcher also begins this week. Really cool. So this is posted on the 15th, so it's actually open now. So the communication's been sent out to the players who are selected to be included for the first technical test, and they're doing a slow rollout and will invite more players to the technical test over time. So if you did sign up for it, but you didn't get an invite, you might still get one, as things move on. Let's see.
I'm sure they want people to do it too, so
yeah,
that's something that sounds good to you. Do it. Get in there.
In fact, just about a day ago now, there was a small update for the Mac launcher testing because they already invited a second wave of players to join the technical test. So at this point in the testing phase, they say, we will continue to gather feedback and work on improving the Mac launcher experience before potentially inviting more players. We'll post another update when we have more info to share. So again, even if you didn't get involved, if you didn't get that invite already, you still might. It still could happen. Let's see. And then now dynamic encounters on the PTS, but we already know about that. But what they're doing here is they're sort of asking for the sort of feedback on it. So the kind of questions they would like you to answer if you're giving feedback is, was it easy to locate the dynamic encounters? Were you able to spend your play session going from encounter to encounter with little or no downtime? Was there enough variety in the encounter objectives? Did it take a reasonable amount of time to complete them? Did the travel time between encounters feel reasonable? Was it clear what you needed to do in the encounters? Did you generally understand what your character was being asked to do and why? What was your favorite encounter and why? What was your least favorite encounter and why? And then any bugs you encountered. And so, so if you can get back to them with that sort of information, that will obviously help them a lot. And like I said, we've already mentioned the PTS Lair Boss starts tomorrow, and that is going to be a lot of fun to try out. I'm hoping that our guild, I'm pretty sure our guild will be able to take it down on story mode. Who knows? Maybe it won't. Maybe we won't. But hopefully we will. it'll be fun to try for sure, because like it's something that we don't really get to do a lot of personally, because we're very casual. I believe it is 8-man. Yeah, I think they're only doing 8-mans now, pretty much. I mean, they haven't done a new 16-man for a while. I could be wrong, but I think it's only 8-man. Something we don't get to do a lot of because we're pretty casual. Like even though we're starting to do some hardcore stuff, we're like we're way off of the pace in terms of the real upper end, guilds. We're meant to be sort of casual. So we don't really get a chance to do this, which is to try a new boss with like no idea how it works, what the mechanics are, what you're not supposed to do, what you are supposed to do, what sort of weird things you're supposed to be doing, like, and how the different roles are supposed to do their thing. It's going to be fun to try it out. I'm really looking forward to that.
Try it out, man.
Yep. And anything else, Kitty?
Yes, I'm going to be doing a Halloween stream on Halloween Day.
Nice.
So I'll be dressed up. I'm going to do some giveaways, going to have some fun. We can group up. I don't know if we're going to have like any kind of in-game activities, but, come and hang out. It'll be good times.
Great. All right. And before we do the outro, just a reminder of everyone who's in the chat who wants a code, just hang around for just a sec. And right when we're done with the outro, we'll work on on getting you some codes. So that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our
Utini Rage
Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel, then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to utinicast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @utinicast or Mastodon @utinicast@mastodon.world. You can find contact details for us on our website, utinicast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly, Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, streaming at twitch.tv/utinicast. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room.
Hey, yeah, thanks for being here.
And we'll see you next show. Okay, and that's I'm going to put that up. Thanks. So what we'll do then is anyone who wants a code, we've got we do still have some jetpacks. So in fact, we have quite a number of jetpack codes. So anyone who wants a jetpack code, definitely ask for a jetpack code. You'll need to turn on whispers. I'll need to whisper you from a OotiniCast channel so that I can give you the code that way, because I don't have a lot of other great ways to do it necessarily. Yeah, so if you want a jetpack code, let me know. Just type in chat jetpack code or whatever. But we do have some, we have the Ton Fawn and other like those codes if you really want them. A lot of people have those by now. We do have Opal Voltilla codes if you want an Opal Voltilla code instead. Cool.
Easy for you to say.
Okay. Let me see.
Damn it.
Looks like I can probably do yours, Korma, without anything else being changed there. Let me get to the jetpack code area. We have a little spreadsheet. Okay. And I'm just going to instead of whispering this each time, I'm just going to say it right now. Like, go ahead and try the code right away. If for some reason there's something wrong with it, maybe something went wrong with our. God damn it. Okay, hang on a sec. I have to do this from my my other channel here. Hang on a second. My other account, the Chills Room account. All right. So let me get to the OotiniCast. For some reason it doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Hang on a sec. I will be there in a sec. There it is. There we go. Whisper. Okay, so yeah, if for some reason something's wrong with the code, please just let me know. I'm happy to do, to make it right. So Cormac Doyle guy says jetpack for Zakis. Sure, can do. Okay, let's see. Let me get back to the codes. This gets very complicated. All right.
Spinning a lot of plates.
Jetpack is really cool, by the way. It's one of those that like it will actually change the exhaust of your of the jetpack based on your color crystal, which is really cool. Okay, hang on a sec. Let's see. There's keys, and then whisper. Cool. Okay, so Zacky's. Riru wants one. Cool. We'll get Riru a jetpack as well. Jetpacks really are kind of fun.
They're cool. And they unlock for your entire account.
Yeah. Like,
did you already say that?
Right. No, but that's true. And it's like all the other codes where like it'll show up in your mail for every character. There we go. So Zen, it's called the Mandalorian Jetpack. I think might be something else to the name.
Jetpack.
Heavy Mandalorian Jetpack. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you would like that one. Okay, let's do Zen next then. I'm trying to go in the order basically that they came in originally, but it gets complicated. All right. Jetpack for Zen. And then let's see. Boop. All right.
Everybody wants the jetpack.
Yeah, I mean it's
Nice.
the new
awesome,
hotness.
yeah.
It's the new hotness too. It's like let's see, and then Skylar. Okay, we'll do Skylar next. We still have codes too. We're good. Like I said, I've been a little let's say lazy about it.
Shy. I think shy is the word I would use.
Okay. There we go. And let's see. Spare jetpack code for Starry. We'll do Starry next. Okay. I mean, close some of these other whispers because otherwise this gets to be too much. All right. So we'll do Starry next. We will do a raid on someone who's doing SWOTOR as well, but we're going to get this done first. Oh, good. All right. And Squishy. Let's do Squishy next. Okay. We also have like CC codes. So if you already have the jetpack and you want CCs instead, that's cool.
Cartel coins.
See.
Okay, I'll be right back. Chill.
Okay. See, so it's Squishy. Hang on, I gotta bring the Squishy's whisper up here. There we go. And so we got Zen's already. Yeah, you betcha, Karma. Appreciate it. Let's see. Yeah, the Mando one is a nice one. The HK one is I like the HK one because it's very compact. But the Mandalorian one, it's a little wider, but it's still relatively compact, and it really just looks really nice. And like I say, it's really cool that you can actually change the color of the exhaust based on your weapon's color crystal. So we got Squishy. And so Master Lil. Okay, so we got Master Lil next. Hang on a sec. All right, we'll do Lil now. Let's see, do I get this right? Yeah. So let me get Lil code. But like I said, just if you have if we've already given you one or you got one some other way, we can get you some CCs. We can get you, or if you don't have the Opal Voltilla, we still have that one. What else do we have? We'll worry about more later. That's probably good enough. Let's see. Squishy. Yeah, you betcha. CCs for your Darth, you betcha. Yep. All right, so Darth, let me... Excuse me, and I don't see anyone else. So if you haven't gotten a code, I only need to do Darth Dirty Socks. I need to find some cartel coins. I need to find some of the CC codes. Let's see. Let's see. It's amazing how many of these codes actually have CC in them, so I can't actually search that way. It's like it's all random, but there's a ton of them that actually have CC in the in the random string of letters. Okay, hang on a sec. So, all right. close that. Bring them over here. Got that one. Here's Darth. Whisper Darth. All right. And the Jar Jar Joyride does fill up pretty quickly nowadays. They actually have a little sign up in the Discord, and I've actually been signing up myself. Like, it used to be where I would just sort of like act as, I was happy to just act as like a like an alternate. Like, if they ever needed someone, they could just contact me, and a lot of times I would be available and I could just jump on. But recently I've been just jumping in, actually signing up and then going in. Okay, so Zacchies, so you take the code that I whispered you, and then what you do is you go to swotor.com and you sign into swotor.com into your account, and in the account area that'll say, there's like a code entry area. I can't remember the exact wording, but it's something about like code something, entering a code. There you go. Yeah, so you go into your code area. Once you have the code entered and it says you have successfully entered this code, and you'll have to like click a box and stuff like that. But anyway, you enter the code, you click a box, you say okay, and then it'll say yes, you got the code for this jetpack or whatever. Then go into the game and it'll be in your every character's mail. Every character that you have now or make in the future will get it in the mail. So there you go. Let's see.
Yeah,
right. That's right. If you're already in the game, you probably have to log out and log in.
Yep, and it'll be in your mailbox. And if you got the, like I said, if you got the Heavy Mandalorian jetpack, you have it. That mail will be on every character. That you have.
Yep.
Every character you have and every character that you make.
Mm-hmm. When I make a new character, it has over 100 mail now.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, it was actually in like the lower 90s, but they also made it a different. It was in the show notes a few weeks ago, where they're no longer going to send mail that has more than one thing in it. So now that it stretched out the mail even more. Yeah, it's nice that it's on every character for sure. So I think that's everyone. If I missed anyone, let me know right now or as soon as possible. But yeah, and we actually still have more codes. So both the Mandalorian and of course we got other codes as well. So if you know anyone who's been like looking for a Mandalorian jetpack code or maybe an Opal Voltilla code, or you want the Opal Voltilla code, just make sure you're on the next show because we're going to be giving out codes. We're gonna give out codes next time as well. So did you want Andromac? Is that right? Is that who we're rating?
I got it in there.
Okay, let me get that one. Go to the place where I can raid from. It gets very complicated when there's more than one. Let's see.
And thanks everybody for being here. We will catch y'all later.
Yeah. Let me find them so I can do it under same category and hopefully find them.
Drop mount is awesome.
Andor.
Uh-oh. How do you know about that?
There's Andromac. Okay. Starting the raid. Thank you for coming. And yeah, hope to see you on the next show. And thanks. It's always more fun when folks are here chatting. So appreciate it. And let's go say hi to Andromac. Okay, here we go. All right, and stopping the stream.
Where's all this
stopping the record.